Arne outlines Rio and Ngumoha plans as Liverpool transfer concern played down. Liverpool has broken its transfer record this summer, but the name on everybody's lips in preseason has been Rio. There's precious little more exciting in soccer than a moment of realization that you may have a superstar in your hands, a sensation that has been spreading around Anfield pitch. There have been some comparisons to Raheem Sterling and his rapid rise through the ranks, but apart from anything else, Liverpool is in a far better state now than it was when he emerged. It will therefore be up to Arne to manage Ngumoha's talents appropriately, making sure there is sufficient game time on offer if the teenager remains at Anfield for the season ahead as expected, because there seems little doubt that he is ready to make an impact at Premier League level. It's a vindication of Liverpool's youth transfer policy, made all the sweeter by the fact that Chelsea was left livid at losing such a special talent. With the departure of Luis Diaz, there is only Cody Gakpo standing directly in the way of Ngumoha on the left wing as things stand. New signings Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike can both play there, but it's not difficult to imagine that there will be situations where favors a more orthodox winger, and the head coach has reiterated that he views Ngumoha as a legitimate option. Speaking in a press conference ahead of the Community Shield, he questioned exactly what it means to be a senior option in attack. "I don't know what senior players exactly means. Does that mean you play for your country or you're a certain age? Because a player like Rio showed in the last few games he played for us that at senior level, he can make an impact as well," Slot told assembled journalists. He did admit that Liverpool is always looking at opportunities in the transfer market as well. Alexander Isak would represent another world-class attacker, at least indirectly standing in the way of Ngumoha's minutes, while there have also been links to out-and-out wingers like Bradley Barcola and Rodrigo. But as well as name-checking Ngumoha, Slot rattled off the names of Gakpo, Ekitike, Wirtz, Mohamed Salah, Federico Chiesa, and even Jeremy Frimpong. Despite the latter primarily featuring as a fullback, he clearly feels that with the teenager factored into the equation, Liverpool has a reasonable array of options even without further transfer business. Slot also went into some more detail about the plan for Ngumoha and how Liverpool can help him to manage the increased hype. He pointed to the role of senior teammates that is sometimes difficult. Slot conceded, when asked about dealing with the pressure, "You never know how an individual handles that situation." But it was a year ago when Trainioni scored a goal against Sevilla when he was also maybe 17. Very young, they have an incredible chance to work and be every day around players like Virgil, Van Dijk, Mo Salah, and all these others to see what they do, to be ready to perform every 3 days. And that is a step these players definitely have to make, which is completely normal if you're 16 or 17. It's already nice that they can play once a week at a good level, and we just try to develop them in the best way we can. But we also have to take care of them because new players that come in that are 23, 24, 22, already experienced that the intensity levels are quite high, either during the games or in training sessions, let alone for players that are 16 and coming through the academy. As ever in youth development, it is a tightrope between exposing players to an elite environment and exposing them to enough game time. If a player is not quite ready to make the grade, a loan tends to be the better choice. But Slot is planning with Ngumoha on board. He deems him ready to make his mark, and whatever else may happen in the transfer market, that is an exciting prospect. Despite the presence of some flashy new signings, 16-year-old wonder kid Rio Ngumoha has been the talk of Liverpool's undefeated preseason campaign. The former Chelsea man has dazzled with a pair of solo goals and may force himself into head coach Arne Slot's plans for the upcoming campaign. Other members of the Liverpool side have taken notice. Jeremy Frimpong, who only joined from Bayer Leverkusen earlier this summer, has already coined a nickname for the Dibbly winger. "That's Mr. 01 vs 1 right there," the Dutchman said when he saw Ngumoha in the most recent LFC All-Red video. The nickname doesn't come out of the blue. Both of the 16-year-old's goals this season have come from mazy solo, dribbly runs where he takes on a slew of defenders by himself. Who is Ngumoha? He was a product of the Chelsea Academy before bolting for Liverpool last summer when his contract ended. He spent most of last season playing for the Reds Premier League 2 side, scoring twice. He became the youngest player in Liverpool history to start a competitive game when he lined up against Accrington Stanley in the 3rd round of last year's FA Cup. Ngumoha registered a goal and an assist against Athletic Bilbao at Anfield on Monday, completing both of his dribble attempts and 15 of 17 passes. He scored another goal in his previous game against Yokohama in Japan, and logged an assist and completed 3 of 4 dribbles against Milan before that. Liverpool seemingly have a hole at left wing after selling Luis Diaz, another dribbler and ball carrier who profiles eerily similar to Ngumoha. That slot could fill with the young England. The Reds have also been linked with a pair of blockbuster late window signings this week who could also patch the gap. PSG's Bradley Barcola and Real Madrid's Rodrigo. Slot simultaneously praised Ngumoha and poured cold water on the hype train when asked about the Wonder Kid in Japan. We've only played 2 games over her, and we haven't played against Premier League opponents yet. But I see him train, I see him play, and the impact he has when he trains and plays is really promising. The Dutch manager told James Parachi of The Athletic, playing in the Premier League, playing every 3 days, with the Champions League games in between, that's something else. But he's definitely a player who shows at this moment in time that if he keeps bringing these performances in, then tonight against Yokohama F. Marinos definitely won't be the last time he plays a few minutes for Liverpool. It's all about consistency. He needs to show it every single day we're on the pitch. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Arne Slot laughs off question on Liverpool signing Alexander Isak this season. Arne Slot was directly asked about whether Liverpool could replace Darwin Núñez with Alexander Isak in the coming weeks, giving a typically coy response. Liverpool have agreed a deal worth upwards of £46 million with Al Hilal for Núñez. And this is, Anfield understands, the club are exploring the market for a replacement. The favorite remains Isak, who is subject of a failed £110 million bid from Anfield, but remains exiled from Newcastle's first team as he attempts to force his way out. A renewed pursuit is expected once Newcastle source a replacement, but Slot would not be drawn on Liverpool's interest in the Swede when speaking on Friday. As you know from me, and I think every manager works like this, you never talk about players that are not yours, Slot told reporters at the AXA Training Center. So I can talk to you about Hugo, who we've signed recently and has done really well until now. We are very happy with the squad we have, and there's every reason to be happy about that, because we won the league last season. Okay, players left, but we've brought players in as well, and youngsters are doing good. So at this moment in time, Darwin might leave, indeed, but things are not signed yet. We need to wait maybe a few days before that's completely done, but there is indeed a chance that he's going to leave. Liverpool have also sanctioned the sale of Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich, while they lost Diogo Jota in tragic circumstances last month. The sale of Núñez would therefore reduce the senior attacking options available to Slot. But while he conceded that the club are always looking for deals, the head coach insisted he is happy with his current depth. We already have a lot of attacking power in our team, he explained. I think about Cody Gakpo, Federico Chiesa, Hugo Ekitike, Mo Salah, Jeremy Frimpong, who play as a right winger, Florian Wirtz, who can play as a left winger. I already feel I have a lot of attacking options in my current squad. But, as always, as a club, we are always looking at the chances in the market, but that can also be in the midfield or in the last line. Chiesa is another player who could depart before the end of the window, though there are high hopes around 16-year-old Rio Ngumoha to step up as a genuine first-team option. Alexander Isak's future remains unresolved, and it looks like a departure from Newcastle United will depend on 2 key conditions. According to Daily Mail reporter Craig Hope, Newcastle's position has not changed. Isak will not be sold to Liverpool unless a replacement is secured and an improved bid arrives. I still believe Isak will join Liverpool this summer for a British record fee approaching £150 million, Hope wrote. Hope added that Eddie Howe is continuing to isolate Isak from first-team training and is unlikely to involve him in this weekend's friendlies at St. James Park, the last before the start of the season. Isak would not want to play even if invited to. You suspect, Hope said. Newcastle turned down Liverpool's £110 million offer last week, but the Reds are preparing a second bid, potentially closer to the £150 million asking price if Newcastle can progress in the ever-failing task of signing a new striker. Newcastle's €80 million offer for their main target, RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko, was rejected, and Manchester United snatched a 22-year-old from the Magpies' paws. The failure to secure Sesko will force Newcastle to escalate negotiations for lower-level players such as Brentford's Jon Wissa or Wolves' Jurgen Strand Larsen, Hope reports. While some inside the club now believe parting with Isak is the cleanest solution, Hope stressed the scenario in which the Swede stays cannot be ruled out. That will not be easy given all that has happened, but we should not rule it out either, Hope noted. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Liverpool handed Mark Guéhi boost, but transfer will only happen on one condition. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Jack. I bring you every update on football news. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments section. Arne Slot has added plenty of talent to his Liverpool squad, but the Reds continue to look short of options at the back, with barely a week to go until the season starts. Liverpool's hopes of landing Mark Guéhi this summer have been boosted by rivals Newcastle turning their attentions elsewhere. However, a successful move for the England star would require a chance of approach from the Reds. Arne Slot's side have already seen 2 bids for Guéhi knocked back by Crystal Palace. They have no plans to make a third, improved offer at this stage, and Palace don't look like budging on their valuation. Liverpool's decision to take a step back might have opened the door for Newcastle, who have themselves failed to land Guéhi in the past. Now, though it appears Malik Theo has jumped to the top of the queue for Eddie Howe's side. According to Sky Sport in Germany, Newcastle have made a written offer for Milan defender Theo, if accepted. It would see the Premier League side pay around £26 million for the German international. Palace have demanded significantly more for Guéhi, despite their captain only having a year left on his contract. Unless Liverpool decide to renew their interest and fork out close to £50 million, the Eagles skipper may well stay at Selhurst Park for the upcoming campaign. Liverpool are limited in their centre-back options after selling Jarell Quansah to Bayer Leverkusen. The pressure may be eased a little if Ibrahima Konaté extends his contract, currently due to expire in 2026, but the Reds are still looking light. Captain Virgil van Dijk turned 34 in July, while Joe Gomez has played 30 league games in just one of the last 5 seasons. Wataru Endo has been given minutes at centre-back in pre-season, while there's the option of moving Andy Robertson inside after Milos Kerkez's arrival. But a new senior centre-back could yet arrive at Anfield pitch. Ecuador international Joel Ordonez has been linked after impressing for Club Brugge, while Konstantinos Kaliarokis and Giovanni Leone have also been mentioned as potential options. Wolfsburg and Greece star Kaliarokis is the oldest of the 3 at 21 years of age, though raising questions over whether another older option might be needed. Liverpool have already spent more than £200 million in other areas, including the additions of Kerkez and fellow fullback Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, and Hugo Ekitike have arrived to bolster Slot's options in attack, with Mohamed Salah expected to miss some action during the Africa Cup of Nations, while Luis Diaz and Trent Alexander-Arnold are among those to leave. Slot's team will take on FA Cup winners Crystal Palace in the Community Shield on Sunday. Their league campaign begins just 5 days, with Bournemouth traveling to Anfield for the opening fixture. Liverpool. Mark Guéhi makes transfer decision as Newcastle revive interest in £40 million defender. Arne Slot needs to bolster this defensive options before the transfer window closes. Mark Guéhi reportedly favors a move to Liverpool over Newcastle this summer. The Crystal Palace captain is now into the final year of his contract at Selhurst Park and has been linked with an exit before the transfer window closes. That said, the Eagles are yet to receive an offer for the England international, having stuck a £40 million price tag on the defender's head. According to the Mirror, Liverpool were in pole position for GIE last month but switched their focus to sign Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. As things stand, the Reds are no closer to landing the Sweden international after seeing an opening bid rejected. Meanwhile, The Guardian have reported that the Magpies could revive their interest after making 4 bids, rising to £70 million last summer before ultimately moving on. However, it has been claimed that Guéhi would prefer to join the Premier League champions if he was to leave Palace this summer. This would be another blow for Newcastle, as Benjamin Sesko is set to become the latest in a long line of transfer targets to reject a move to St James Park. It's added that the central defender is happy in London and would be willing to see out the last 12 months of his contract before joining a club on a free transfer after the World Cup. Liverpool's need for defensive reinforcements were highlighted earlier in the week as head coach Arne Slot was forced into a major reshuffle for both preseason friendlies against Athletic Club. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.